Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a collective tarot reading for the Gemini new moon, which happened on the 22nd. Today's the 23rd, so the new moon energy was yesterday, although it does last for a whole fortnight. Cards were laid out, so I'm just going to jump straight in and do the reading. Although before I do actually start that, I would like to say that I am still uploading the reading that I did yesterday, which is the astrology part of the reading. So there's two separate readings, so if you see the same kind of title, it's because one is astrology and one is tarot. I did used to put the two together, but it was taking up too much of my time and it was just getting too difficult to focus enough attention on one and not enough on the other, so I decided to separate them. So this is the second part, the actual reading, the actual tarot part itself. Like I said, when I managed to get it uploaded, there will be two videos out there for anybody who's kind of watching this video and is wondering what the other one is as well. So that's just a little explanation on why there's always two of my videos. So I'm going to just jump in and say that we have just had this Gemini new moon, and these are the cards for the Gemini new moon, which I've taken from the Moonology deck. I just took them out because I thought it'd be interesting to see. And it really is all about communication in Gemini, because Gemini is all about verbal sociability. It's all to do with the mind because it's ruled by Mercury. It's very much mind energy, thinking energy, logical energy, analytical energy. So you may find yourself doing a lot of inner thinking because the new moon is much more kind of reserved and much more kind of inner dialogue. And this card here is saying that at this time nothing is set in stone, and so it's all about flexibility, and the Gemini new moon is very flexible, and also because of the fact that we're going to be doing a lot of thinking, we may also be changing our minds a lot as well. So we may think that we've got things sorted in our heads and we know where we're going and what we're going to do, and then literally 5-10 minutes later we could just wipe out all those plans and go, right, okay, actually I think I'll do it like this. So you need to be flexible with yourself at this time. Don't try to kind of make any major decisions at this new moon. At least be open to changes and flexibility. So they are the key words here. Communication is key and nothing is yet set in stone. So everything is up in the air really, everything is kind of in flux, and it kind of feels that way at this moment in time as well. If you kind of think of everything that's going on a kind of global scale for us right now, there doesn't seem to be anything that is really kind of this is how it is and this is how it's meant to be, and you know, there's no kind of set pattern for us to follow. So it's all a little bit confusing as well, which can be a Gemini energy as well. So the first card that we have for this Gemini reading, new moon, is the moon itself, and it's in reverse. So it's kind of talking to me literally about it being a new moon, a dark moon. It's kind of things being hidden. And you may find that you yourself at this time are wanting to kind of hide things. You're not wanting to express as much, maybe. You're not wanting to be out there as much as you have been recently. You may find you're going through a period where everything is kind of very much in your head and you're having conversations with yourself about things over and over again, and you may just feel that you don't want to share these thoughts or these ideas or express them. You just want to kind of keep them to yourself. But the new moon, or the moon in general, talks about things being undercover. Like, it can talk about secrets, about things that are not yet revealed, especially in the new moon, especially because it's kind of the dark moon. There's no light from the moon, so very little is revealed. So it could also be a time of where things are kind of percolating under the surface, both kind of individually and collectively as well, and that they haven't yet risen to the surface to actually come out and be actually looked at, analysed, talked about. It's that kind of energy. It can also talk about growth as well, like an inner growth, like kind of keeping something to yourself because you want to kind of nurture it, take care of it, and kind of not make it too obvious at this time. Like almost like you want to, it's kind of like a womb time, really. Like I'm getting a kind of feeling of the womb kind of energy, of kind of nurturing that inner creative thought processes. And it's covered by the Five of Pentacles. It can also be confusion as well, the dark moon. It can also be confusion because you may feel that you haven't got all the information that you need at this time as well. But, you know, you're trying to guess. Could be a lot of guesswork going on as well. And there's also possibly a lot of feeling as though, you know, you're out in the cold. Because that's what the Five of Pentacles, if you see this card here, these two women here, or these two characters here, are literally out in the cold, in the snow. And they're kind of wrapping themselves up against the elements here. And so there could be a sense of this within the collective at this moment in time where we're all kind of feeling that we've been abandoned in many ways, because the people who we would normally turn to for advice and knowledge and wisdom, who kind of help us through difficult situations, they're all in the same boat as well. They are no wiser. And it's kind of becoming apparent in some ways as well that these people who have put themselves in these positions of power and these kind of pedestal kind of situations literally are no wiser than any of the rest of us. They have no more understanding of what's going on. They have no more answers. And so we may well be feeling, you know, that we have been kind of left to get on with it. We could also be feeling that everything that we've kind of built up is kind of being lost to us at this time as well. Like businesses are going down. And this could also have something to do with this moon energy as well. There is, I am feeling with this moon energy, a kind of sense of secrecy, of things that are yet to be revealed. It's kind of a lifting of the veil which needs to happen, but because it's in reverse as well in particular, it is kind of really talking about this time of it being a dark period of time in some ways. It's like we're going through a dark night of the soul in some ways. And so the card which is in our heads at the moment and what we're aware of with the King of Swords is very much this communication, this this need to understand, I think, at the moment. This is what the King is saying to me at the moment. In our heads, we want to know. We want to have answers. We want to be able to say this, this, this and this, which is a very Gemini energy, because Gemini likes to plan things. And if you don't have answers and if you don't have the information, then you can't make moves forward. So we may all be feeling like that at this moment in time. We're needing communication. We are needing to know what's going on. And that is in some ways kind of driving us deeper into this energy here of feeling abandoned and feeling, because this is our challenge at this moment in time. Our challenge is to try and not get into this energy, I feel, not allow ourselves to become overcome and overwhelmed and left feeling like we are left out in the cold and that nothing's kind of being sorted. But it's like bringing me back to this energy or this card here, which is literally saying, you know, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is yet set in stone. So everything is in flux all over the world at this moment in time. You know, there is nothing anywhere that is really definite enough. The King of Swords can also be very discerning as well. He has the ability to kind of see quite clearly. It is the mind card. It is the card of thinking, thoughts, logical approach to something. But I feel on some level it's like we're having to do this for ourselves rather than us being able to rely on others. This is about our own understanding of things. How does it feel for us? Or what's the logical, what makes sense for us as individuals as well as on a collective scale? So that's what's in our head during this time. And what's been around for a while but what's moving away is the Knight of Swords here, or the Princess of Swords as she is in this deck, and it is in reverse. And the Knight of Swords energy is a very Gemini energy of air. So it relates to Gemini, Libra and Aquarius energy as well. And if you listen to my astrology video that I did yesterday, I do talk about the air signs, particularly about Aquarius and Saturn being retrograde in Aquarius, and what's the effect that has had on us and is having on us. And so for me, this is kind of the energy of not being able to be active. We want to be active. It's like this is lockdown for me, this energy here. This is us all kind of being restricted, held back, because the Knight of Swords is very fast moving, he's very quick thinking, he's very action orientated, he wants to do, he wants to move, his mind is constantly on the go. It's like, you know, from one thing to another. It's like constantly like doesn't know when to stop, can't switch his mind off. It's like just all the time thinking. So this for me is saying that, you know, it's like we are being forced into a situation of having to take a step back, of not being able to be active, be out there. We aren't being able to socialise, be able to meet in large groups. There's all this kind of restrictions that are going on. This is social distancing as well to me, this energy here. But underneath it all, in our subconscious, we have the Queen of Cups, which is a very sensitive, emotional energy, the Queen of Cups. And you can see here, she almost looks as though she's kind of, I wouldn't say worried, well, I kind of get a feeling of like she's trying to kind of, I feel almost come to terms with something here. There's a very white sun in the background, or maybe it's the moon actually. Maybe it is the moon, because the moon does relate to the emotional side of things as well. So maybe she is sitting in her emotions in the moonlight. But this card to me, and this card is also being the moon, it's a Cancer ruled energy. And this for me is the last 18 months of what we have been through with the moon's nodes in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer energy is all about the home, it's all about security and safety, it's all about emotions, because Cancer is ruled by water. Water relates to emotions. It also relates to the signs of Pisces and Scorpio. But I kind of see this energy, this feminine Cancer type of energy, because Cancer is ruled by the moon as well. So I see this as us having kind of been through this 18-month period of learning all about this Cancer energy. With the moon's node in Cancer itself for the last 18 months, we have kind of been focusing our attention somehow on all those things that are Cancerian traits. Like I was saying, safety, security, home. And I talk about this again in my video yesterday. I talk about how I found it really, really interesting. But as Cancer was getting ready, the node was getting ready to leave the sign of Cancer and move into Gemini, that was also like when the lockdown happened as well. Saturn moved into Aquarius, and the moon's nodes had reached the end of the Cancer sign, or the beginning, because the nodes always move in retrograde, so they go from the end of the sign to the beginning of the sign, and that's why they go, next sign is Gemini, because it moves backwards. The nodes always move backwards. So and we were kind of faced with these situations of the home, because we had to stay at home, the family, because we had to be with our families much more, security and safety, because it was all for our own benefit that we had to do this. We had to stay secure, we had to be safe. Childhood, and there's been a lot of emotional issues around this as well. So I kind of really see this energy here as this Cancerian energy that we have almost got used to, of this kind of home environment. And kind of recognizing, like, most people have spent more time literally in their homes over this last 2 or 3 months than they will have done probably in an entire year. Maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but it's kind of like, you know, the amount of time that you've actually spent in your own home compared to normal could have really changed your energy levels, your dynamic, the way you look at things, feel about things, because the Queen of Cups is all about the feelings. It's all about how she feels about something. Queen of Cups is also known as a kind of cipher or a mirror as well, so she can be very reflective. So this could also be the energy that we're feeling, that we need to be in at this time. I think a lot of people during this time have also taken to being able to be more reflective, and kind of meditation groups have sprung up all over the place, and a lot more people are joining online to do meditation together and things like yoga. And so it's almost like it's given us a lot of time to get into this kind of feeling sensitive energy. There's also a very strong compassionate side to this Queen as well, because she feels on a very deep level. So there may also be elements of us, because we're all in this situation together, so everybody is kind of being compassionate towards everybody else on some level, or feeling more compassionate about people's suffering and problems and situations in general. The energy that's moving in for us is the Six of Swords. And in the Six of Swords, there's an element here of leaving something in the past and moving into a future. And we are all in that same boat, literally, at this time. Collectively, globally, we are all in the situation of leaving our past energy, leaving our past time, like, you know, previous to what happened to before the lockdown and everything that we were doing then. It's kind of like, you know, they're saying it's not that nothing's ever going to be normal again. You know, this is the new normal, is the kind of catchphrase, if you like, that's going around at this time. And if you watch my previous videos or my video that I did yesterday, I also talk again about how this situation that we're in now happened due to a major conjunction between two of the bigger outer planets, Saturn and Pluto, who joined together in January, and that really has changed everything. And a lot of astrologers knew it was coming. It's been spoken about for quite a few years now, this energy of change, and a lot of us have even been aware of it kind of way back before then as well. I've known about it for years and years and years. I didn't know how or why or what, but I knew it was coming. And a lot of us have even come here for this kind of change that is taking place, shall we say. Some of you out there may resonate with this, some of you may not resonate with this. If it doesn't resonate with you, then just pass it by. But for those of you who do resonate with this, you will know what I'm talking about. This is major change. So this is us leaving the situation, our past, with a kind of energy of tranquility, a kind of sense of like of okay, that was then, and this is something, you know, we don't know what's coming, we don't know where we're heading, we don't know exactly what's going to be happening next, but we've kind of reached a point within ourselves where we're willing to move forward. We understand that we need to move forward. And in our hopes and our fears, collectively, we have the Five of Staves. Now, fives, all the fives, like the Five of Pentacles here as well, are challenging energies. Or adverse energies, should I say. They're energies of kind of situations that we have to struggle through. They're things that we... it's like the energy of Saturn and Pluto, the two planets that I was just talking about. They are both adverse energies. They both work through situations that do not seem at the time as though they're going to be very beneficial. But in the long run, they do turn out to have been necessary. And I feel that this is the same thing here, with this energy here, with the Five of Staves. It's kind of a battling with ourselves, each one of us individually. This battle of wills, our own will, if you like. And it feels to me as though it's kind of old us and new us, and old us and new us that is kind of awakening up to a lot more, is still kind of trying to come to terms with everything, to understand it on a deeper level, which could also be this Moon card here as well, because this is about kind of understanding things on a deeper level, as is this Queen energy too. because she is all about intuition and instinctual feelings, gut feelings, knowing something, deeply knowing something. So these two energies are very similar to me here. And if you look here, you've got all these women who are kind of battling with each other over something. And they may not even know what they're battling over as well. And this card kind of talks to me about past energy as well. Like, is it worth still battling over something that is no longer available? Over something that's kind of had its time, it's done, it's ended. Almost like a feeling of like, you know, do you still even remember what it was that you were fighting over? Or kind of it feels very strongly like a battle of will, like ego. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a feeling of egos clashing, but I also feel that this is a card of hope, because it's hopes and fears, that there's also, you know, a hope that we're going to move beyond that. That as a collective, as a human race, as a world that's full of all these different races and people and countries, and we're all kind of, like I was saying, you know, we're all in the same boat. We're all going to kind of realise that we're all in the same boat. We all come from the same source energy. So why are we fighting? Why are we doing this? Why are we keeping this going? And the energy that is kind of the, I would say, the outcome at this moment in time, it's difficult to say an outcome, because I don't think there's going to be an outcome as such, but the energy that is moving in for this particular time is the Princess of Cups, which for me is all about love. It relates to, again, the Knight of Cups here. And we have two knights here. We have this one in reverse, which is what's moving away, and this one is our kind of outcome for this situation. So this is much more, I would say, our worries and our fears and our stresses and our kind of, you know, that very fast moving energy, and not being able to do that, not being able to just kind of do the things that we would normally do, and just kind of, you know, be able to go on holidays and visit friends and that kind of thing. Whereas this cup here, if you look, this card here, if you look here, she's actually drinking from this cup here. And this cup represents the Ace of Cups, the cup of love. And it's saying to me here that she's ready, that we are ready. We are ready to drink from this cup. We are ready to have love in our lives. We are ready to love ourselves enough to be able to give ourselves the love that we need as well. And that we don't necessarily always need to be looking for it or expecting it from an outside source, because it's within us, and we're ready to see that and accept it and drink from that cup of love. So I'm going to pull some clarifying cards here and ask for the energies around the moon and the Five of Pentacles, and why they're here for this Gemini new moon. Gemini new moon conjuncting the Sun. Gemini new moon conjunct the sun. As I say in my astrology video, there is a lot of Gemini energy around at this moment in time. We have Sun, Moon, Mercury and Venus all in Gemini, and this could both also relate to Venus in Gemini as well. This energy here, particularly this energy here, because Venus is going to be retrograde for 4 months in all, or is going to be in the sign of Gemini for 4 months in all. She's not going to be retrograde all that time, but she is going to be, and is already retrograde now, and will be going over the same point 3 times. So anybody who has anything in that place of Gemini, which I believe is from, I think it's from 5, where is it? I've lost my card, sorry about this. I'm going to have to dive under the table and find them. There we go. Yeah, as I was saying, I think it's, I think it went into shadow at about 5 degrees, or maybe it's 12 degrees. Can't remember exactly, but I know the retrograde point was at 21 degrees, and so it's going to go back and go forward, and I think it was 5 degrees. It kind of rings a bell in my head of being 5 degrees. So we got 2 cards here. We have the 4 of Wands and we have the Queen of Pentacles over the top of these 2 energies here as well. So the 4 of Wands to me is saying, again, it's kind of a family orientated card. If you see here, a lot of readers call this kind of card of marriage or engagement. It's kind of building something. With Wands, it's creative energy. It's putting your fire and your passion into making something long lasting. And because it's 4, it's structured. It's like it needs to be solid. It's like a solid foundation, building a solid foundation for the future. But it is reversed, sorry. It is reversed. And there is also a dragonfly in the corner here, and in Native American Indian mythology, the dragonfly can or does represent illusion. So there could be something to do with that energy here as well. That what we are building, or what we have built, because it's come out over the top of here, which is the heart of the reading. I'm kind of saying, you know, that the foundations are toppling as well. Like the foundations haven't been solid. The foundations that we've put in place in the past that we thought were solid and we thought were going to carry on standing, and it almost feels to me, this card today is almost like a mini tower, like a mini realization of the fact that what you believed was, like I say, solid and well built and would stand the test of time, is actually kind of, now the realization is kind of hitting that is not the case after all. But we do have the Queen of Pentacles here, and she has come out in the right position, upright here. And the Queen of Pentacles is very grounded, very solid energy. And I think with this kind of the moon and the 5 of Pentacles here as well, this feeling of being left out in the cold, and the moon it's that kind of state of confusion, which is kind of going along with this illusion dragonfly energy I'm picking up here as well. So the Queen of Pentacles is saying, because it's a very physical realm as well, the Pentacles is all about the physical, it's all about bringing something into the physical. I'm feeling it as rebuilding, because there's one tower behind her as well. If you see here, it's like this one pillar here which is still standing, and it's kind of relating to this energy here as well, like there's just one that is still standing. So it's kind of saying that there is something to rebuild on. It's not like complete devastation. It's not like the world has gone into complete cataclysm and things are kind of totally in upheaval. It's like we have gone into this kind of more weird, and again I feel that this dragonfly is kind of representing that kind of illusionary energy, that things are not really as they appear to us at this time. How we think things are is not possibly necessarily how they actually are. But there is this one tower, and the Queen of Pentacles is very kind of dependable energy, especially when she's upright. Especially she has kind of, you know, confidence in herself. She knows the value of things as well. If you look, there's a lot of luxury here as well, a lot of kind of opulence here. So it's kind of saying to me that, you know, not all is lost here. We may feel that we're kind of walking on rocky ground, if you like, but things are not necessarily as bad as they may appear, or what we're being told. But that doesn't mean that somewhere, kind of with this moon behind the scenes, the kind of mysterious energy, the unknown energy of this, that this is all happening for a reason. Again, if you watch my astrology video that I did yesterday, I actually talk about how the number of the date of the 12th of January 2020 is really interesting, because it adds up to the number 8. If you add all, like the 1st January being the number 1, and then 12 being 3, so that makes 4, and then you've got the 2 and the 2 from the 2020, and that makes 4, and you put those two together, you get 8, and 8 is the number of karma, fate, destiny, things that are meant to happen. So what have we got down here? We have the 4 of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles over the top with this king here. So this is kind of a time out energy, and as I was saying, you know, people are kind of turning to meditating and looking at things on a deeper level here. But with this card, it always how can I put it, it's like I always see this as a 3 of Swords energy kind of hanging over the top of him. And the 3 of Swords is all about heartache, it's all about suffering, it's all about loss, feeling as though you can't go on in many ways, like an energy of things just being too much, overwhelming, Like if you make a move, these swords are going to just drop on you. But he's kind of reaching for this sword down here as well at the same time. So it is almost like he hasn't given up, although he may look like he's given up here. He may look like he's just, even in some ways, just kind of fed up and bored. There is this energy here of, you know, when the time is right, he's going to kind of leap into action. But at this time, this is about thinking things through. This is a time out energy, and it's like on a collective scale as well. It's like the universe in some way has kind of said, like, you know, this is time out. This is time out, and this is how it's going to happen. You may not understand it, you may not realize it, you may not like it, because Saturn and Pluto always work through adversity, so you may not like it, but at the same time it's necessary. Why? Because the universe says so. So that's the energy that we're in at this time, and that's what's in our head and what we're aware of. And with the Knight of Pentacles here as well, it's saying to me, this is slow. This is slow growth, slow learning, slow moving. It's going to last, and it has already kind of lasted quite some time. And again, it's the energy of Pentacles, so this is very much taking place within the physical realm of our lives as well. But there is a bigger picture to this. I think again with the moon energy there as well, it's kind of saying, you know, there's a bigger picture behind all this. You may not be aware of it yet because you don't have all the pieces to put together to make the bigger picture, so you can see the connection between everything. It's like, you know, we've only got little bits of this, that, and kind of trying to put it all together is what's kind of keeping us in the dark as well. So there's just this feeling that this is very long lasting, but it's also very green, this card. There's a real green energy about it, which relates to the heart energy chakra. So it's almost like I feel on some level that our hearts are kind of opening up more, that we're becoming more open as human beings. The more we're kind of isolated, ironically, the more we're opening up. So the less kind of social contact we're having, the more social contact within the areas that we live in, like the little community areas, and that can even be in towns as well, because every town has its own little like space of community, of kind of people all living within a certain distance of each other, who you recognise on a kind of daily basis as well, maybe when you're out and about and you think, oh, I know, I've seen that person around. So now there's this kind of much more open communication with people. People's hearts are opening more to each other. And I think that's also what this energy is about, this kind of longer lasting, that we need to kind of go through this process. And the longer we're in this energy, the more we're going to, because people are also going out in nature a lot more. People are kind of reconnecting with nature a lot more, taking walks where they normally wouldn't because they wouldn't have the time. Maybe even appreciating nature a lot more because they're no longer shooting past in their cars all the time and just kind of like, you know, going from A to B or A to C. People are kind of stopping and going through B now, and kind of, you know, there's so much more time kind of on our hands that it's almost like nature is calling us back. And also the animals are kind of returning and taking over, and it's kind of like, you know, people are seeing this and people are becoming aware of the lack of pollution, and it's almost like something is reawakening within our disconnection of nature as well, how we have become so disconnected from the very source of energy that gives us everything that we need, because it's all become so disconnected. And it is ironic that the more we are put into this kind of disconnected energy, the more we are connecting. But as I've always said, the universe moves in mysterious ways. I'm not going to question it, but it does amaze me. And especially when I look at the astrology as well, and the connections that take place within the astrology. And so if you are interested in astrology, you might want to check out my astrology reading. It's not I wouldn't say it was a normal astrology reading, whatever that may be. So we have here over the top of this Princess of Swords, this energy of not being able to do the things that we would normally do. We have the Death card, which for me is this Pluto energy of saying end of. This is the end of. This is like, you know, things are different. Things are not going to be the same. Things are changing. You are moving forward. And there's a transformation taking place here as well, on a much, much deeper level. Pardon me. Because Pluto is all about transformation. It is about the phoenix rising from the ashes. And so this is the energy that's moving away, that we're moving away from. We have been through this kind of spiritual death, if you like. And I feel it and I see it as a kind of evolutionary step. Like the life that we had been living was no longer serving us. It was no longer working in our best interests. And there was again that disconnect between the planet itself and us, was reaching a point where something had to give, really. Something had to give. So this is, I feel it's kind of like this, just this death of the old. The way things have been, the way that we've been doing things, the way that we've been living our lives. And this too, for me, this white kind of rose flower here is symbolic of the spirit, symbolic of the kind of rising up of this new energy. But again, it's the adversity, it's the having to go through that difficult energy to get to the other side. But it's saying it's like the light in the dark here. It's like this is at the soul, the purity of the soul. So the death itself has also been necessary. Because death is a necessary part of life. As much as some people may want to live forever, that's not practical and it's not possible. And we go through many deaths in our lives as well, which we don't necessarily recognise as deaths, but things like moving from being single to being in a relationship, that's a kind of death of our single status, and also from becoming a parent, from being just, you know, maybe a couple, and then all of a sudden you have a child, and that's the death of that life as well. So we don't kind of recognize the deaths that happen within our lives itself. It's like we just focus on the end result, the end death, if you like, you know, the finality. But we go through many different deaths in our lives, from childhood to teenagehood to adulthood. They're all deaths, and we don't kind of mourn. There's a part of us, because we find death very morbid, so we have kind of not allowed ourselves to recognize these and to mourn the energies. And so there's also maybe some part of that here as well, that we haven't given ourselves time to do that. Maybe that is why, again, what is happening, because the universe is saying, you know, allow yourself to go through this process, this grieving process for what you have lost. And I don't just mean that on a kind of, you know, the people in our lives that may have suffered through this as well, but also for the loss of the lives, or the visions, or the dreams, or the, you know, the businesses even that people have built up and have kind of seen just disappear in front of their eyes. And so there is many ways of death kind of reaching us. And below the surface, with this subconscious energy here, what we're not so aware of, we have the moon card again. But this time it's upright. And so I do feel as though, again, this Cancer energy, this Cancer home, security, family, this is all things that we're really kind of focused our attention on, but on a kind of more deeper level. This is kind of saying to me, you know, these are basic human needs. This is where we're all coming from. We all need these things to feel safe. We need to feel safe. We need to feel secure in order to be able to live a good, happy, healthy, prosperous life. Very Cancerian energy, very mysterious, very kind of the subconscious realm. It is literally, this is in the place in the tarot reading itself of the subconscious. So it's the subconscious realm is where things are not so obvious. We're not aware of that energy, but we feel it very deeply. So it's almost like we know it. We know it so kind of like it's in our blood. It's in our bones. It's traditional. It's what we're used to. It's how life has always been. And I'm kind of seeing that moon as a kind of reflection. As a reflection of ourselves. Like this is being a mirror. And us kind of reflecting on our inner moon, if you like, on our emotions, this kind of, you know, being reflected back at us, like I was saying earlier, that she has this kind of mirror energy where she can reflect ourselves back at us, particularly when we're in relationships. And there is going to be a lot about relationships coming up with Venus in retrograde in Gemini for the next 4 months. There could be a lot of relationships coming back around as well, and kind of clearing out things, resolving things that maybe we haven't been able to resolve up to now as well. Also with these two pillars here as well, this kind of represents the Gemini energy for me, the twin energy, and the moon in the middle. This reflective. And Mercury, of course, which is the ruler of Gemini, is also the metal that is used as a mirror. So it almost feels like there's a lot of reflection going on, like a lot of kind of seeing. I'm kind of getting this image of people kind of, it's like a laser beam going from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, and kind of seeing aspects of ourselves in all of these different people, and understanding on a deeper level that we all are aspects of each other, reflecting. So, sorry, I got caught up with that. And we have these cards that have come out with the Six of Swords here, this energy that is coming in, which is all about us moving away from something, leaving the past behind, a recognition of all kind of being in this boat together, even though she's in this boat on her own. I kind of feel it represents this energy here as well, on some level. And this understanding. And the swords in some way kind of represent taking what she's learnt, taking her, not her emotions so much, I don't feel, but her ideas, the things that she's known, her learning process is kind of taking the things that count or that are important or that are needed into the future with you, in order to be able to, because there's 6 as well, in order to be able to kind of balance things through. Hmm. 6 is an interesting number, because it is about reciprocity and kind of that give and take energy, that receiving and also being given back as well. 6, the number itself, kind of represents that energy. But the swords are all behind her as well. If you look here, it's like they're all behind her. So it is kind of an acceptance energy here, I feel. An acceptance of this past situation. And we have the King of Swords again, so that's twice now we've had the King of Swords come out, this very kind of analytical thinking, understanding, and he sits on this kind of very turquoise throne here. So it says to me that there's going to be a lot of kind of verbal communication, because the turquoise is all about the heart and the throat chakra, the turquoise chakra that sits at the middle here. So I always see this energy as kind of an open, like really heartfelt conversations, like really getting to the bottom of things, really kind of, you know, speaking your mind, but doing it in a way that it's also understanding and from your heart, and kind of not holding anything back. And because the sword is pointing down as well, there's a feeling that this isn't about attacking. This is just a kind of like, you know, communication that has to be said. It has to be put out there. It has to be for your sake rather than anybody else's, I feel, as well, for the individual person, because it needs to be said. It's almost like, you know, you can't carry it anymore, you can't take it with you anymore. You need to verbalize it, you need to narrate it, you need to. So you could also find that you may want to write things down a lot more as well. You might just want to kind of write how you're feeling, how you're thinking. Maybe more letters are going to be exchanged between people, text messages, emails, that kind of thing. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which is a younger energy of kind of becoming aware of the value of what he holds. And again, it is that energy of kind of abundance and almost like bringing things to you in a way, like planting the seeds for the future and watching them come back and grow. And so it's taking this pentacle here and planting it into the soil and making it become more. And so there may, because it's over the top of this energy here, our future energy, there may be a lot more gardens being used for actual growing of vegetables and but I get the feeling that this is also about businesses, smaller businesses, smaller communities, people kind of planting things, planting seeds together, having new ideas about things, about how to grow things for the future. Because people are going to be kind of concerned, shall we say, about what could happen again. What could, you know, if it's happened once, it could happen again. And supposing next time you can't get to the shops and you can't have what you need. So there could be more communication with people kind of wanting to team up, because you've also got this Ten of Pentacles here as well, which is in reverse. And the Ten of Pentacles is normally about a situation of achievement and success. And so in reverse, it's kind of saying to me that there is this fear or this worry, this stress that this could happen again, and, you know, everything that has been built up could again be lost, or we may be left out in the cold, literally, with nothing. This energy here, the Ten of Pentacles, because it goes from the 5 and we've got the 10 here. So if we don't have the foundations, maybe, the security, the safety, the haven't achieved what we need to achieve. And it's also kind of saying to me that people are possibly also looking at what does achievement mean as well, value wise. That people are going to start questioning it's like they've put all their time and their energy and their effort into doing what they thought they were supposed to do, doing what they were told they should do. And what all their life they've been kind of brought up from as a child, this is, you do this, and then you do that, and then this happens, and then that happens, and it's kind of, you follow this kind of plan, I suppose, this kind of like plan that everybody kind of, there's no set rules for this plan as such, but there's this kind of idea of how it goes, and so everybody is kind of followed along, and now we're kind of seeing that it doesn't necessarily work the way that we thought it worked. It goes from the page to the 10, so it's almost like a backward step here. And we also have the 5 of Cups as well in reverse. So this is a card of feeling a sense of despair, a sense of, again, the 5, adversity, like our emotions as well. Because this is not just going to be over like suddenly. This isn't just going to suddenly change. This is kind of a long-term process that is in play here. So it's almost like we're going to have to kind of rethink things, restructure things. With the 5 of Cups, we may fall into this sense of despair that there is nothing there for us, and that we're battling, against all odds. But if you look here, there is 2 cups in the background there. But his attention is nowhere there. It's just not on those cups at all. His attention's here on these 3 spilt cups in front of him. And it is in reverse as well. So we may feel as though, there's going to be a lot more despair to come yet, and that we're not going to be focused on, because this, I feel, is the future. Even though it's behind him, it's like he doesn't want to look at what is coming in. He wants to look at what has been. His focus of attention is on what's been. And we once again have the 6 of Swords here as well. So we've gone from this 6 of Swords right the way through to this 6 of Swords. And with this 6 of Swords, with this one here, I'm just going to put the other cards down, I'm going to have a look at these 2 together. Because with this one here, she's kind of open. She's not cloaked, she's not hiding anything. It's kind of daylight, and everything like is obvious. What she's doing it openly, she's doing it, she's not trying to hide anything. But in this card here, the moon is in the background, and she's cloaked, she's hooded, she's cloaked, she's hiding herself. So it's almost like a sense of like, with this energy, this is what's moving in for us. Both of these are what's moving in for us, and we've got all of this energy in between to deal with until we get back to this energy here, And so I feel with this one, it's like, almost feels like we're going to start doing things, I wouldn't say underhand or slyly, but there's a sense of that here. There's a sense of kind of not being as open, and I don't even feel honesty is the word here either. It almost feels like this is a sense of this is how we have to do things. This is how, like, if I want to move forward, I've got to kind of keep it under wraps. I can't kind of tell everybody. And this could just be this Gemini energy that I was talking about earlier, of wanting to keep everything hidden, wanting to, like, not feeling like you can express yourself at this moment in time. And if you do, you may feel that this is what you end up having to go through, and you may eventually just think, right, okay, well, I'm just going to keep it to myself. I don't want to necessarily express all my feelings or my thoughts or my new ideas or my ways of dealing with things in some way, in some level. But I do feel, again, with these three, like here, as I was saying earlier, these two sets of threes here, this kind of sense of balance within us. And because this is about leaving a situation, this is about moving again into moving forward. And maybe this is what this card here is saying, is that we thought we were going to be moving forward. We're open to moving forward, but when we try to move forward, we have to deal with all this stuff first. Until we get to the point of realizing that, well, in fact, you know, I'm going to have to do this more secretly. And that's the kind of energy that I'm picking up from this card, because the moon is there as well, and the moon has come out twice in this reading, so it could represent the need to kind of be more I just get the feeling of secrets, of secretly doing things, of kind of yeah, because the way that the world is kind of shifting, and the way that the authorities are kind of behaving towards people, there's this kind of sense that things are kind of having to become more again, I don't want to say underhand, because I don't think it is underhand, but there is just this energy of things having to be more, or should we say less revealed. Less is more kind of feeling here. In order to move forward, we're going to have to be again, I don't want to say underhand, I don't want to say, but it's kind of the word that keeps coming back to me over and over again. It's kind of like, we need to kind of use our intelligence and our smartness and our quick wit and our sense of self-preservation. Sense of self-preservation is what I'm getting from this card now. Because it is about moving from one situation that is often very much something that you're having to leave it behind because it's not a healthy place to be. It's a situation where you've had to kind of move away from it. And so it is about self-preservation. So I feel that that's the energy that we're going to be coming more tuned into is self-preservation, that we need to take care of us. We need to look after us and do what's right for us as individuals as well as collectively, but as individuals definitely. So we have the King of Wands and we have the Two of Pentacles over the top with our hopes and our fears here. King of Wands, fiery, passionate, creative energy. An energy of somebody who's very charismatic. It's that energy of kind of, I see this as, because it's the fire energy, the creative energy, it's the Leo, Sagittarius and Aries energy. So it's really, what's the word? King of fire. He can be very again, self-confidence, charismatic, has a magnetic kind of personality about him. It's with our hopes and our fears, and the Two of Pentacles is upside down with this Five of Staves. So almost I feel as though this card is about us subduing in some ways, because this, I feel, represents this battle of wills with other people's ideas, other people's kind of that have been forced on us as well, other people's opinions that have been forced on us that we've kind of taken on board, but at the same time it has become quite a self-doubting energy and a fearful energy and an energy of not wanting to well, it can be an energy that holds us back because we fear the outcome or we doubt that we have the ability. And this king here is kind of saying to us, well, actually you do have the ability to be successful or to get to a place that you want to be at in your life. We do have the ability to change things. We do. This is a very kind of fast moving, active, changing energy. If you think of fire, it's constantly changing. It doesn't it's never the same, the fire energy, and you get very kind of many different, you get candles, which are kind of like, they're just a nice gentle flame, and you get roaring kind of, volcanoes and infernos, and so fire has that ability to be very warming and very kind of gentle and give us what we need. Or again, it can be an energy that gets out of hand. And I'm kind of feeling that this energy, both of these cards for me, are kind of relating to the wars that we have been through as a human collective, if you look back in our history, this is the energy that I'm kind of feeling with this card here. This sense of constantly having to do other people's bidding here as well. This sense of fighting for something that may not even be something that we want to fight for. But it's almost like we are forced into those situations, and this king energy is kind of feeling for me like that kind of flaming of that energy, something that kind of keeps that energy inflamed, and because it's very, very kind of orange and red and yellow, and today that's how it's coming across for me. Also relating, of course, to the 3 chakra levels as well, which relate to our security and our survival and chakras, the root chakra. solar chakra and the sacral chakra. So it's the red, the orange and the yellow energy of these three, which if they're out of balance, which this energy here is saying it is out of balance because it's in reverse, and it's the 5, it's adversity, it's kind of working through adversity. And I just get this sense, this kind of sense of battle and war, and I'm getting kind of visions of how we have kind of abused this energy in the past as well. And kind of battlefields that are like on fire, and castles that are on fire. And he's kind of coming over to me today as this kind of devil energy rather than anything else, with these horns coming out of his head here as well. That's how I'm seeing it. And he's kind of on this battlefield. But he's not actually on the battlefield himself. He's kind of like watching it from a distance. But everything around him is in flames. And maybe that's how we're kind of feeling as well, that everything around us at the moment is in flames, that everything's inflamed, that all of... Because this is hopes and fears. So everything, you know, is kind of, everything is magnified and inflamed, and the information that we're hearing is all extreme. That's kind of what I'm feeling. It's all about extremism. And if you look back over our history, it's all kind of been extremism. And we have the 2 of Pentacles here as well, which is about this sense of balance and magnetism and kind of, you know, drawing things to you. For me, it represents kind of a future and the past, and that kind of juggling energy of trying to decide, do I want to go with this? Do I want to go with that? And there is a rainbow here as well, but the card is in reverse, and it is in our hopes and fears, so it's not something that has actually materialized yet. But I see this as more the past energy. Both of these I see more as past energy, and it's kind of, can we get ourselves out of this? Can we move ourselves away as a collective from this kind of constant warring, battling, arguing, struggling, being dragged into things that we don't necessarily want to be dragged into type of energy. And so the last card, the Princess of Cups. Miss Gemini New Moon reading for the collective. Gemini New Moon reading for the collective. Why is it here? Why is this Princess of Cups here? While I'm shuffling the cards and waiting for something to happen, could I just say thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel so far. I really do appreciate it. If you like my tarot reading, could you thumbs it up for me so that I can get it put out onto the bigger YouTube algorithmic platform, so more people can see it and possibly, hopefully, come back to my channel and see my other videos as well, and maybe they'll also subscribe. That's kind of the plan. Temperance, balance within ourselves, but also within a sense of the masculine and the feminine energies. And it's come out over the top of this Princess of Cups, which is about loving ourselves as well. And I feel this as a sense of acceptance acceptance of our masculine and feminine energy and our need to kind of realize, awaken. I see the Temperance card as a kind of awakening to something energy at the moment, and it's almost like an awakening to awakening to the flow of all things, awakening to the, you know, like I was saying earlier, we've seen these kind of laser beam energies from one person to the next, this kind of connecting energy. It's a very similar thing that I'm seeing here. It's kind of realization that, you know, the heart chakra energy flowing from one person to the next person, this more kind of compassionate understanding, this kind of loving yourself, and through loving yourself you can love other people as well. But first of all, you have to give yourself that cup. You have to look after yourself before you can kind of look after or hope to look after somebody else's heart. You have to be able to take care of your own heart. Because the Temperance card is also known as Iris. Iris is the goddess of the rainbow. And so she was kind of a symbolic energy of with that combination of the sun and the rain. There is also a sense of healing here as well. And there was another card that came out earlier and I almost spoke about the, where's it gone? Completely lost it now. Hang about, I think it was, yes, this Six of Swords actually, with this little frog down here. The frog for me is all about bringing the rain. Native American Indians see frogs as kind of rain bringers. The frogs come out when it's going to rain, and when it does rain they all come out together, and they see the rain as being like a healing. So there's kind of a connection here. I'm not sure where that frog thing came from now. The healing, there's like a healing I feel going on here as well. That as we move away from the past, we are going to start to heal our hearts and become more compassionate with ourselves, and then outwardly we'll become more compassionate with others as well. Because I feel that that's really what this is leading to, is kind of this compassionate energy, but for ourselves first, being kind to ourselves, looking after ourselves. And when we can do that, we can also do it for others as well. Or we can accept others in more of a compassionate understanding who they truly are kind of energy. Like not having to judge their actions or their needs for doing something that maybe doesn't suit our needs as well. But not having to argue about it, not having to go into this space here. A sense of kind of growing up in a way as well with the Temperance card for me, a sense of kind of more mature outlook on relationships. A maturity, a growing up, a kind of realization. And a balance, just this kind of sense of balance, which is also with this Two of Pentacles here, but this is in reverse. So I do feel a kind of energy of flowing from one thing to another, rather than kind of because there's water and fire here as well. If you look here, there's water. This cup holds the water, and it kind of connects to this fire energy as well. And I feel that kind of fits in with this cup here, this cup that she's holding here, this cup of the emotions down here, and it kind of turning into this kind of passion, this driving passion. That's going to move us all forward. Okay. And so I just opened the deck because I wanted to get a bit of clarity on that particular card, and I have the Strength card, which again relates to the kind of, I'm seeing this as the two cups again as well, this being the fire, the Leo energy of the fire, the ego in some ways as well, but the masculine and the feminine here as well, the lion and the maiden, the kind of strength, or the the strength. I know it's the Strength card, but it's also, for me, it's kind of saying, you know, that the here she's kind of tamed this beast, and she's the kind of softer energy here as well, which is coming out for me as this energy here, this fire here, and this water energy here. And this could also relate to the Mars energy as well at the moment. I talk about the Mars energy quite a bit in my astrology reading, because Mars is in Pisces for the next 6 weeks, or the next 5 weeks. I think he's been there a week already, so he's got about 5 weeks to go. So it's kind of in that Piscean energy as well, that kind of Pisces water, deeper subconscious, soul-searching energy. So this could have something to do with that fire energy. And I also talk about how it's about the masculine and the feminine. Again, if you're interested, it will hopefully be uploaded today, as will hopefully this video as well. But everything, I am a bit behind with everything due to some situations I had to deal with that I couldn't not deal with. So it's kind of put everything on the back step, so I'm trying to catch up with myself at the moment. And in saying that, I'm going to very quickly read these cards here. So I've pulled some spirit animal oracle cards, and I'm not very used to these, so I'm going to kind of just take them at face value at this moment in time. And the grasshopper spirit is literally saying, take a leap of faith. And it kind of reminds me a bit of this frog as well down here, because they both leap. They're both about leaping. And of course the Fool card is all about leaping into a new beginning with faith. That's something that you're going to land in the right place, that what's happening is supposed to be happening. The new journey that you're taking, that we're all taking, is the journey that we're supposed to be on. And the elephant energy is saying, learn from the past. And so again, I think that that's what this kind of the Two of Pentacles here, the past and the present, is kind of saying. And I do talk about this a wee bit in my astrology reading as well, saying that we need to kind of bring through from the past. And maybe that's also what this is about here, you know, with these swords, that this is the past, but we need to bring through with us the learning, the understanding, what we have learnt from the past. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to keep reliving it, but we have to learn from it. We have to learn lessons, the lessons that need to be learnt from it. And we have the Wasp spirit, which has come out in reverse. But the Wasp Spirit is saying sometimes life stings, and I think that's very apparent at this moment in time. I think we're all feeling a bit stung by this situation in many ways, and we may be trying to kind of fight against it as well, because I think the Wasp Spirit in reverse is kind of trying to go against it, but it is a kind of futile attempt, I feel. And then we have this energy here, which is this electrifying eel spirit, or electric eel spirit, which says bring your ideas to life. And this energy here today, when I saw this, I really kind of hit me as Uranus and Mars energy that's happening as well. Uranus kind of electrifying Mars. Mars is kind of in Pisces at the moment. So, and in my astrology reading again, I kind of talk about how the Uranus energy is kind of blasting Mars with this kind of change, and saying to Uranus, you know, things have changed, Mars, you know, you can't behave in that kind of aggressive, forceful warrior like energy that you have been used to kind of being. You know, there's this change that's happening, and the whole world is kind of shifted into something new. And in Pisces, Mars is having to kind of let go of all his warrior-esque or warrior type energy, and just submerge himself into this kind of deep subconscious realm. So those are the energies here, and with this card I do feel that we are going to be bringing ideas to life, that there is going to be new things coming out of this, but we are going to have to kind of wait for things to change. And I pulled two Ask and It Is Given cards by Abraham, Jerry and Esther Hicks. Or Abraham is the entity that is channeled through Esther Hicks. If you haven't heard of Abraham, look him up on YouTube, because there's a lot of information out there about him, and it's well worth knowing, especially if you're into kind of conscious awareness and things like that. This actually says, this card, I am becoming consciously aware of my inner being. And on the back it says, we refer to the non-physical you as your inner being, or your source. It is not important what you call that source of energy or life force, but it is important that you are consciously aware of when you are allowing a full connection to it, and when you are restricting it in some way. So it's talking about knowing when we're connected to everything, to the bigger picture, to the understanding of life, and when we're restricting and stopping ourselves from feeling. So this card here, first I reach for joy and all else follows, which is kind of saying that, you know, this is how we should be living life. We should be looking for the joy within our lives, and then if we focus on that, we get more. So it says, once you consciously identify your current state of emotion, it becomes easier for you to understand whether you are choosing thoughts that move you closer to your desired destination or further from your desired destination. If you will make the improved feeling or emotion your real destination, then anything and everything that you want will quickly follow. So that's the advice from the Ask and It Is Given cards. I'll give you the other side of it as well, for anybody who wants to maybe pause the video and reread it, or photo of it, or brain's stopped working now. So I'm just going to say thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed my new moon Gemini tarot reading, which also kind of goes into a bit of the astrology reading as well. Please, like I said, could you thumbs it up for me? Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will be putting more videos out there. And also tap that bell in order to get the videos that I do put out there in the future. I do full moon videos, I do new moon videos, I do the major kind of movements of the planets as well, and I do all the zodiac signs. So you might be interested also in your own astrology chart, which there will be a link for in the description box down below, a free natal chart for you to go and check it all out for yourselves. And in the meantime, please take very good care of yourselves and take very good care of all those around you that you are able to take care of, and have a good weekend and a good week to follow, and hopefully I will see you again soon.